Welcome to WagerTalk TV. I'm Kelly Stewart. And like every week, we have our sponsored video for the Alabama game, sponsored by Touchdown Alabama magazine. Excited to do all sorts of work with these guys. They provide such good insight, information. Southern Miss at Alabama this week. This is another large number. Brian, we're just never going to stop seeing large numbers versus this Alabama team. Now, my question for you is, South Carolina was able to run against Bama. We saw Duke somewhat be able to run against Bama. Is Southern Miss going to be able to run against Bama?
Yeah, Bama's allowing 3.7 yards per carry, and if you go back, it takes all the way back to 2006 before they allowed more than that. They allowed 4 yards a carry that year. That is a concern. I've got to be honest with you. I was pretty impressed by South Carolina last week, the way they were able to move the ball with a backup quarterback against this Alabama defense. Southern Miss, the teams in that general area, all the kids want to play in the SEC.
Of course.
When you don't get invited to play in the SEC, they love playing against the SEC. And if you take a Southern Miss, they're producing 3.2 yards a carry against Alcorn State, Mississippi State, and Troy. Now, that's not very impressive because those are not – Mississippi State's a good team, but the other two are not that great. But they do have a bye week coming up. They play UTEP, and then a bye. So if you're a Southern Miss player, this is the game. This is your Super Bowl here, and you're going up against this Alabama team who has not stopped the run well. Problem is, Southern Miss has not fared well on the ground. That's a concern. As we always talk about, it all comes down to how Alabama wants to play this game. They can name the score against these lesser teams. I would expect the way the defense has played against the run, that's what Alabama's been working on this week. So without the team being able to run the ball, it won't be able to take more time off the clock, which may help Alabama cover this spread. I'm going to sit this one out because of the game for Southern Miss. I said it's a Super Bowl. But I'll be setting this one out. But it'll be interesting how Southern Miss is able to run on this Alabama defense.
Drew, we always know that certain teams like Alabama you are paying a premium for, right? Probably 3-4 points added to the betting line just because they know every single Saturday, Joe Schmo is going to walk up to the counter and he's going to bet Alabama. I've already seen tons of tickets all over social media, and I just don't get it. As Brian mentioned, yes, I know they can name the score, but last weekend they left that back door wide open, and Alabama backers were sick to their stomach in the last 30 seconds, basically. I feel like that could easily happen here as well. It's not that Nick Saban takes his foot off the gas by any means. It's just that we're now at their third, maybe even fourth string players by this point in time. Are you taking a shot here with Southern Miss?
I don't know if I'll get there sidewise, Kelly, and you bring up a lot of good points. And Nick Saban doesn't necessarily let off the gas pedal, but at the same time, I'm not looking to lay near 40 points with this Alabama team. We've seen it time and time again, them not wanting to cover big numbers, or not necessarily not wanting to cover, just not doing it. Not because they don't have a lot to prove. You know, they have their kind of dynasty behind them. I would look at this more from a totals perspective. Southern Miss, like Brian said, struggling stopping the run. And going up against Alabama, that's a difficult thing to do defensively if you're not good in the trenches stopping their run. So I think Alabama is going to be able to score touchdowns. And at the same time, if Southern Miss does have an advantage, it might be throwing the ball down the field. They kind of have an explosive offense. So I think this total of 61, Kelly, might be a little reachable here. So if you're looking to bet on Alabama versus Southern Miss here, a big number, I would lean you towards the total and go over 61.
You mentioned Alabama. How often do we find a team that everybody wants to bet on, and every single year they cover the spread more than anybody else? It's just amazing the job that they have done there.
They're the New England Patriots of college football.
They are. But the Patriots and Alabama, two teams everybody wants to bet on. At the end of the year, you look, they always have winning spread records. It's amazing.
Yeah, I don't have the guts to necessarily bet against them. I'm just not rushing to the window to lay the chalk after, especially what happened last weekend in Columbia. All right, guys, all 90-day, all-access packages normally priced at $849, just $599 this weekend only at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com.